In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Peace and blessings be upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad. The Quran, the unaltered book, the final book that was revealed by Allah, the Almighty. There were scriptures that were revealed before this Quran. Among these scriptures was, for example, the Torah, the book of the Jews. And among these scriptures was also the Injil, the scripture of the Christians. But the last book is the Quran. And all of these scriptures that were revealed before the Quran have been altered. Allah did not prevent the previous scriptures from being altered because He knew that the Quran would be the last book to be sent down to mankind, and that all people, without exception, must adhere to it. And the very people of the scriptures, both Jews and Christians, themselves confirm that their books have been altered. However, Allah did not allow this for the Quran, and so He, Subhanahu, took it upon Himself to preserve this Quran. He tells us in His unaltered Quran, "We have sent down this reminder and we will surely preserve it." The reminder here refers to the Quran. Allah has preserved this Quran, protected it from falsification, and He tells us in another verse, "Falsehood cannot approach this book, neither from the front nor from the back. It is a revelation from the All-Wise, the Praiseworthy." And here we learn that Allah protects this book to such an extent that the protection itself is undoubtedly visible before our very eyes. We see how countless millions have memorized this Quran. Whether they are young children or adults, there is no one among the Muslims except that a large number of them have memorized the Quran. But we cannot say the same for the other scriptures, because even if there was someone somewhere in the entire world who had memorized the Torah or the Gospel, it would only be a single person. But these have not been protected in the same way as the Quran. Even if all existing copies of the Holy Quran were to be completely destroyed today, it would still be relatively easy to fully restore the Quran, primarily because millions of devout people across the globe have meticulously memorized its entire sacred text. And another proof that the Quran is the word of Allah, dear listeners, is that Allah has set challenges in this Quran that no one has been able to meet up to this very day. No one has been able to produce a book like the Quran. Allah has shown us miracles in this Quran. No one knew about these matters. For example, Allah tells us that two seas flow side by side, and He tells us that there is a barrier between them. And this barrier, who could have known about this barrier if Allah had not made it clear to us? Allah also tells us in this noble Quran that the developmental stage of a fetus in its mother's womb goes through various phases. At that time, no one had an ultrasound, so no one could have described this in detail. But Allah has clearly proven this to us, and Allah has also shown us that the deeper one goes into the sea, the darker it becomes. Back then, no one had diving equipment that would have allowed them to verify this. And that is why the Quran is the unaltered book, which will remain unchanged, and no one can alter it, even if they were to join forces with all of humanity. This book will always remain unaltered, and that is why every person is called upon to follow this one true book alone. One should not follow any other book besides this if one wants to be among the successful on the day of resurrection. Wassalamu alaikum.